Sports in the D, John out here with you. It is the final segment of the September 29th show of 2017. I want to get into the Russell Westbrook contract extension and what that might mean for us NBA fans or the hilarity that actually ensued after this happened. So we're going to talk about, this is an article from, the Ringer podcast by Haley O'Shaughnessy. It says Russell Westbrook signs record extension to stay in Oklahoma City. The Thunder locked up the reigning MVP for the next 6 seasons. And it has a huge smile on his face from Mark D. Smith in the USA Today photo of Russ. So, a couple quotes here. Oklahoma City's favorite son is staying home. Per ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, Russell Westbrook signed a 5-year, $205 million extension with the Thunder on Friday after a long anticipation-filled summer of waiting. The deal, which was signed using the new designated player veteran extension, the richest in NBA history, kicks in after the upcoming 27-18 season that guarantees Westbrook an estimated $233 million in Oklahoma City fans for their point guard for the next 6 seasons. Now, here's the irony here, and I want to read this quote because I don't believe it. It is unclear why Westbrook waited until late September to sign the extension, as the deal had reportedly been on the table since the 1st of July. When asked about the delay during the media day earlier this week, Westbrook said he was busy. Man, it's been a long, long summer, Westbrook said. I had a baby, so I've been working a little on fatherhood. But like I said before, man, this is the place I want to be. I love being here. I'm excited about the season. Now, here's the thing. We talk about Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City, Kevin Durant, Oklahoma City, James Harden, Oklahoma City, and Serge Ibaka in Oklahoma City. And how good that team was and what we should have thought about, if you didn't already, think about years ago when the Miami Heat and the Oklahoma City Thunder matched up as the Heat and LeBron James won the first title of his career. And Dwayne Wade was able to walk away with that second, Bosh getting his first. It was a big deal for LeBron James in order to get that first title. And on the other side of this, you have an incredible young core, a trifecta of James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant. And what I thought about, especially going into 2017, and some of that stuff is going to change now, was the absolute mistake that a lot of NBA fans probably felt that Sam Presti made, and myself included, in picking Serge Ibaka over James Harden and effectively killing what was left of that super team, because now that there seems to be a lot of them, especially in September 29, 2017 and beyond in the NBA, where that wasn't going to happen. That James Harden, you can say whether or not he was going to go ahead and blossom into his own, or you never knew he was going to turn into this, ultimately ends up going to Houston and making the biggest name for himself, being second in the MVP only to Russell Westbrook, that had averaged a triple-double for the first time for a whole season since the Big O. Now, in essence, what happened with Sam Presti was the Oklahoma City Thunder made moves because Russell Westbrook had that 1-year contract extension. They weren't sure what was going to happen with Russ. There was a lot of questions in terms of other media members asking and questioning Russell Westbrook's loyalty to the franchise. And in the end, he said, this was my number one option. Loyalty was something that I stood by. And after that 1-year deal, fans were left to reminisce and now, but there's just no other questioning left after this 6-year extension. And there's no other questioning that Sam Presti, in my opinion, after that colossal error that happened with James Harden, not picking him and taking Serge Ibaka, there's no question that Sam Presti went out and did everything else to try to appease Russell Westbrook's happiness to get him to sign this extension. I get that it's a lot of money, and I get that the Players Union also tried to get stuff extended to get more money out of it. But what Sam Presti ended up doing was trading Sabonis and another throwaway for Paul George, putting some more throwaways in there for Carmelo Anthony, and essentially forming another big three. Whether or not you believe Carmelo Anthony's past his prime, that's going to be a certifiable power forward that you can throw in there with Steven Adams And then when you have Westbrook, Roberson, and Paul George with Carmelo Anthony and Adams in that lineup, essentially what you end up creating, probably at worst, is a top 4 team in the Western Conference. And you can never accuse Sam Presti, even though you might think he made some of the wrong moves at the time, you can never accuse of him not making the big play in order to try to get his players to sign and his players to stay. And Russell Westbrook did just that, and Sam Presti did right by Westbrook because he flipped Enes Kanter, Doug McDermott, Victor Oladipo, Domantas Sabonis, and a 2018 second-round pick and turned them essentially into Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. That's really, really damn good on his part, and that's a tremendous amount of value. And what that ends up doing is not only does that get Russell Westbrook to stay, but that also creates more intrigue for fans like us of the NBA. Because you think about the San Antonio Spurs essentially getting Rudy Gay for a stick of gum, only a couple million of dollars there, also keeping Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard, Rudy Gay, all that core, that stuff together. Now you add this Oklahoma City team. You add Chris Paul coming over from the Los Angeles Clippers to the Houston Rockets. You get LeBron essentially now getting Dwayne Wade, getting Isaiah Thomas, getting Jay Crowder. You get the Boston Celtics moving over, getting Gordon Hayward from the offseason, getting that trade to get Kyrie Irving. That makes things a lot more interesting. And couple that with the Minnesota Timberwolves of all teams, being able to get Jimmy Butler, keeping Karl Anthony Towns, having Jeff Teague. This just makes things a lot more interesting, and essentially you have about 6 or 7 teams out there that kind of feel like all-star teams. And there's been a lot of player movement. There's been a lot of former all-stars, almost double-digit all-stars that have moved just from the last season into new teams, making things a lot more interesting. And why I think there is no coincidence is having Russell Westbrook do one of 2 things, and both things, there's not a coincidence to me. Not only signing this contract, and I get that it's $233 million in total, and there's going to be a lot of guaranteed money in that, but in the sense of not only having him sign this because Kevin Durant didn't prove his loyalty, but Kevin Durant decided, obviously, as we all know, go to Golden State, and ultimately that was a good decision for him because he wouldn't win a championship, regardless of however he ended up doing. He's going to submit his legacy, whether everybody still likes that move or not. But in the essence, Russell Westbrook also did a one-upsmanship on Kevin Durant. That's also signing this $233 million deal on KD's 29th birthday. And I don't think that that's any kind of coincidence. That is something that I think was very calculated by Russ. And what I'm interested to see is the first time that these 2 guys meet up again, Russell Westbrook's going to have some new friends in terms of Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. And I'm not saying that this team is going to take out the Golden State Warriors, but what I am saying, it's going to bring all these fans in droves to watch that game, whether it be on ESPN or TNT. They're going to be tuned in to watch that game, and it's going to make for some interesting intrigue. And it's just wonderful to see. I know some of the old school guys, and you could probably include myself whether or not you think guys should stay, but ultimately, as Colin Cowherd talked about it on his radio show on FS1 in the Herd, that you need to embrace change because ultimately it's going to be a good thing. Look what it's done for the NBA. It's created a lot more ratings and it's created a lot more intrigue, and this was a very calculated move by Russell Westbrook and a very good job by Sam Presti. What do you think? Facebook.com/TBUGunslinger, Twitter @JohnRyanOtt. Next few days, have another radio show because we're going to be talking about the Lions and the Minnesota Vikings in that recap on Sunday, and hopefully I'll be able to get you to some more information on the NBA 2K18 reviews and what I think of NHL 18. So stick around next few days. For Sports Day and the D again, this is going to be John Ott signing off for the September 29th show of 2017. Have a good night, everyone. Stay safe and talk to you soon.